Hi you guys. So today I have a whole bunch of Essence products and I thought it would be kind of fun to do like a face full of super affordable drugstore brand. And I gotta be honest, I have never seen Essence at any place other than Ulta. I don't know where else you can find it. I don't ever really shop for cosmetics at Walmart. So I don't know if you can get it there or Target or any place else. I've never seen it at my Walgreens. I don't have a CVS in the town I live in. So I'm not sure where else you can get it, but it is in the drugstore section of my Ulta. And I thought, why not? I love the mascara. Like I've got a couple of different mascaras and I think this one, which is the Lash Princess, is my favorite, like Essence affordable, kind of almost one of my favorite mascaras, and I haven't used this in a while, but we're gonna use this one again. And then I have pretty much an entire face full of stuff, so I thought we would just kind of play and just sort of see how the products work. You guys okay with that? So the first thing I'm gonna use is face primer, and this is, it says High Beauty. Hey, focus on me. It does say that it's a hydrating face primer, and I have skincare on already, but I used one of the ColourPop or Fourth Ray Beauty hydrating milks, like the watermelon milk. Sure, we don't want it to be greasy. I don't know how the products are going to work. This does look like it has hemp seed oil in it, as well as magnolia. It's supposed to be moisturizing. You can use it alone or under foundation. We're going to actually use it in conjunction with the Essence My Skin Perfection Tinted Primer. So it's not really foundation, but I thought might as well just kind of see what it looks like here. It's relatively thick coming out of the tube. Tinted primer on top of moisturizing primer. Kind of making up our own rules as we go here. I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to use. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put it on my eyelids too. So it seems to come out of the tube relatively thick, but it applies pretty seamlessly. I feel like it's going to dry down okay. It did absolutely nothing as far as coverage for me. So even though it says instant blur effect, I mean, maybe an instant blur effect, but really absolutely no coverage. Good thing we've got some Camouflage Matte Concealer. So this is a waterproof tattoo covering Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer. Seems like a contradiction, right? To go from a tinted primer into a matte concealer, and that is very light. Light toned, not necessarily that it's light coverage. And might as well just use it to highlight. First impressions are often fun, and especially when you buy things online and you don't actually know what color things are. It's just like a surprise. All right, as far as coverage goes, I'm not horribly upset by it. And despite all the moisturizing products, it doesn't look like it's like pilling on my skin or anything like that. So we're gonna move on. And we're gonna move on and try to like put some warmth back in the situation here. Okay, I do have a matte bronzing powder. I might as well take a look at this, see how this looks. I look really washed out in the camera, but this is a nice big size pan, and this is in shade 01 Natural. I don't know what it's gonna look like. Okay. Okay, these earrings are kind of ridiculous. The other earrings I had on the last, I don't know, week or so were kind of irritating my ears a little bit. I saw these and I'm like, why not? I'm wearing like this tie-dye situation. So these are kind of like just like funky earrings. And I'm not going anywhere today. Good chance to play, try out some products that I had never tried before, which is kind of the idea here. I feel like I might regret not doing a foundation. We're just gonna keep rolling with it and just see. Who knows? This might actually turn out to be a great makeup day, or it could suck. I don't recall if I actually had an Essence foundation. If they did, I don't know why I didn't get one, unless I thought maybe this tinted primer would have acted like one. Okay, so I do have an Essence blush. This is not new. I've had this for a while, but I haven't used it. And it's in shade 20 Satin Love, and it's pretty light, neutral, just kind of a pinky color. And again, I don't know why I haven't used it in a long time, other than I think there's just so many other great products out there that I kind of forget about it. If it doesn't wow me, it's gonna go to the back of the drawer. But when I decided to try some other Essence products, I'm like, well, why not bring it out here? As what normally happens when I do my face first, I go a little crazy with the blush, I think. I'll try to blend it in a little bit. But at least I don't look nearly as washed out as I did earlier. I got this product here called It's All About Eyes. It's a 4-in-1 palette. And it looks like it comes with an itty bitty little brush that's got this ridiculously tiny spoolie and a little powder thing on it here. Okay, so I've got definitely three powder products, and then there's one here that's got a little piece of something over the top of it, and I suspect it's like maybe a soap or a pomade type product. This has got to be some sort of like eyebrow gel. I might as well use their little tool. I laugh because this just seems, now it seems to be working, but it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, and I got this because I felt like the darker hair products that I've been using, or darker brow products that I've been using, have been too dark. So that I know for sure is going to be too dark because it's really, really dark. This one, it seems like it's more along the lines of a blonde hair coloring, and it might be just too light. We might end up having to, I'm just going to mix both of them. See what we come up with. I haven't used powder brow products in quite a while. I used to have, I think, the Clinique brow kit, and I actually really liked it, and I think it lasted forever, and so I think just over time I've switched to other products. What I do like about powder products, at least for me, is they certainly do go on easy. And when I do brows, I gotta be honest, I'm more along the lines of just kind of like trying to thicken them up a little bit. I don't draw on each individual little hairs like some people do. As far as brows go, yeah, it did what I wanted it to do. All right, I'm gonna take this little brush here, and we're just gonna use this. I have to make sure I don't dip into the waxy pomade gel. Because I have super dry lips, I'm gonna go ahead and put on a lip liner. This is a soft contouring Essence lip liner in the shade 08 Big Proposal. I can tell you I will absolutely use this lip liner again. It's very pretty. I did not fill in my entire lips because I have a couple other lip products here. I've got two different lipsticks. One of them is in shade 12 Loyal, and one of them is in shade 01. This is a nude. I want to think Ulta had a sale that was like, you know, buy one, get one, 50% off. So this one is in Loyal. That one's Loyal. Definitely pretty nude shade. And then the other one is called, this is a nude. And they're pretty similar. This one seems like it has maybe just a little bit more of a pink tinge to it. Formula is creamy. I used this as a nude right now. We'll save the other one for another time. I also picked up a lip gloss. This is a Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss in the shade Happiness in a Bottle. We're gonna wait on this, and we're gonna see kind of what the whole face looks like when we're done. Do you guys find that you're wearing more like matte liquid lips these days as opposed to glosses? Just kind of curious. I feel like I can't not have products on my lip, but when you're wearing a mask when you leave, so I find myself wearing more glosses when I'm at home or if I'm going to be taking off my mask, but for the most part, I'm just been a lot of liquid lips that dry down. Okay, I have a total of 4 different Essence eyeshadow palettes. These two are part of a collection that came out, like an Elements type collection that came out recently. I've got it in Earth and in Fire. And then I also have these other like destination palettes. One of them is Salut Paris and one of them is Bonjour Montreal. And I think I have used both of these at some point. I've stuck my fingers in some of them too. So this one down here is Paris, and this one is the Montreal one. This one I picked up because I really like the kind of mauve sort of color story and the cool toned taupe colors. These two shades look like they're almost identical. So I don't usually use a ton of like super light shades. I want to see like one lighter colored matte and then obviously a darker colored matte. This one up here, I just like the, you know, you've got a green, you've got a kind of a burgundy color, and there seem to be a combination of mattes as well as shimmers, which makes for a nice palette, but because I don't really hear anybody talking about them, I was wondering what the problem was, and I may have discovered it. So I may end up doing a couple looks here one with each of those palettes just to kind of see what I can come up with. And then as far as the Elements palettes go, this one is Earth. Sorry, this one's Earth, and it says Wildlike Nature on it. My issue off the bat with this is they're all shimmers. This one is Fire, and it says Like Dancing Flames, which is kind of cute. You do have more of a combination of textures in here, which is great, especially if you're going to do something very orange, warm, fiery, sunsetty. I feel like this one just disappoints me because it is all shimmers, and this would not make a single palette for me. I would have to dip into something else as far as eyeshadows go. So I'm not saying that it's on my list of like regrets, but I'm not in love with it either. If you need a palette of shimmers and you like warm tones and you're okay with, you know, a grungy green and some browns, it seems fine. It's just, maybe if I were someone who did like a single shimmer with a little pop of something in the center, that might work okay. This one I feel like it's going to give me, obviously this is going to give me an orange toned look. I've got a blushing kind of pink look. Let's do 3 looks. Let's do 3 looks with Essence eyeshadows. Instead of doing 3 looks with one palette, I'm going to do 3 looks with 3 different palettes, and I hope you guys are okay with that. As far as the rest of the makeup goes, it's growing on me. Like, I don't feel completely exposed and bare and nude, and I think I made the rest of it work. Like, my face feels fine. It doesn't feel, obviously with the hydrating primer, it feels pretty good. The other tinted primer actually I think probably would make a better primer, but I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work under foundation, so I might have to give that a try at a later date. Let's do the Orange Crazy one to start with here. Okay, so this is Fire, and we're going to start with this shade right here. And I don't see shade names written on here, so I apologize for that. Even if there were shade names, I don't know that I could read them without my reading glasses. There is no mirror in this, which some people don't really care about. It's, you know, something that is a reason to keep the costs low, and not everybody needs to have a mirror in every single palette. And aside from my primer that I used all over my face, I did not go in with a separate eyeshadow primer. Now, this shade is a little darker than I probably would normally use as a transition. It does seem to be shearing out pretty good, so it does give me that kind of watercolor wash of warmth without being crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's do a little crazy here. I'm going to go in with this orange, and it doesn't look as vibrant in the camera as it does, say, in the mirror and in real life. In real life, it is a very fiery orange. And I'm just going to use the same brush. And instead of going right where my fold is, I'm going a little bit above it just to give myself that faux crease that gives my eye a little bit more depth, dimension, I guess, since I do have those smaller hooded eyelids. I feel like there's a little bit of patchiness in here, and again, it could be because I don't have an eyelid primer, or it could be the fact that I'm not a makeup artist and I'm just playing with makeup. It's that whole lady of a certain age thing. You know the drill. The good thing is it's just makeup, it washes off. Now, that being said, we don't want to throw our money away, right? So we don't want to just be buying products that aren't going to work for us. And if there's a sleeper product out there, a sleeper brand that is going to save us money, well, I'm not going to keep that information myself. I'm going to share that with you guys. Those colors kind of melded together pretty well. I don't really see a ton of differentiation between one and the other. And it's probably because I'm not using a big fluffy blender brush here. I want to kind of just keep shearing out that top edge so that it fades. I want to try to use the brightest red in here, and again, it looks a little darker on the camera, but in real life this is a bright red, and I'm using the same brush. I think what I want out of this shadow, I want it to cover any discoloration on my lid. I want it to be a bold shadow. But I feel like the first couple shades that I used are very sheer and kind of watercolored out. I do get quite a bit of kick up in the pan, especially with this shade right here. I didn't notice it quite so much, but I didn't, you know, go in so heavy-handed either. All right, it did build up. I feel like this is also one of those shades that when you blend it, it kind of lifts, so you get less of the product on your lid. The overall shape is fine. I can't say that I'm obsessed with the quality at this point. I'm just taking what's ever left on my brush and running it underneath my lower lash line. This is kind of a prettier, like a copper shade here. We're gonna use that one. This is the first shimmer I'm going into. The shimmers are pretty creamy. And again, applying it with my finger gives me a chance to kind of press it in. That drastically helped my overall lid kind of seem a little bit more intentional. It's amazing how sometimes you can be disappointed and think, oh, this is just not gonna work. And then you grab a shimmer of some kind and you press it in, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, maybe I don't hate this palette. I'm slightly worried about creasing. We'll just have to see what it does. But I'm gonna grab a pencil brush and go into this yellow right here, and we'll use that on the center. Okay, that is not a shimmer. It's not really doing anything for me. I don't really quite know what to do with this matte yellow. So we're just gonna drag some up here and kind of work it into those oranges. All right, I figured out what to do with that yellow. That actually works okay. I'm gonna go into the lightest shimmer in here. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. That's better. I think that's about all of the oranges and reds and yellows I'm gonna do on my eyelids right now. I do have 4 different eyeliners from them. An extreme lasting, so it's like it's a gel and it's a black. Then I've got another one that says long lasting. And this again looks like a gel and it's a brown. Smoky crystal, and this looks like a little bit more of a plummy purpley color. But again, an automatic gel liner. Get more gray out of that than purple in my eye. And then I also got this crazy colored one. And then I'm not sure why, but apparently I have an LA Girl neon shockwave bright green pencil. I don't remember ordering this. I certainly don't remember ordering any LA Girl products. We're gonna use the brown. Okay, so the product is extremely soft, and just even swiping it bent the tip a little bit here. So knowing that, I'm just kind of tapping it and smudging it as a little bit of a tight line, knowing that it's not gonna give me like a super fine line. And normally, because of my hooded eyes, I don't normally go past mid pupil because I don't really want it to, oh yeah, see, it is so smudgy. Not my favorite eyeliner in the world. Keeping it 100% honest with you. Again, not sponsored, not endorsed, not affiliated with Essence in any way, shape, or form. I just really like the mascara, and I've been having a lot of fun trying out like a face full of a single brand. This eyeliner, I don't care for. I don't know if it would be better if I froze it and then tried to use it, or what the dealio is, but I'm gonna try to kind of buff that out a little bit. We're just gonna kind of smudge it into the lash line. Honestly, it just kind of feels like a mess. But one of my favorite mascaras, we're gonna do a quick coat of this, and then I'll be right back. All right, you guys, look number 1 with the Essence Fire Element eyeshadow palette. I think I used 6 out of the 9 shades in here. I do feel like I could get more use out of this palette, especially once I realized that by putting a shimmer over the top that the mattes ended up looking so much better. So this is look number 1. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna come back. We're gonna use one of the other palettes. I'll be right back. Back again, and after cleaning off, I did go back over with the tinted primer on my lids and just underneath, and it does seem to dry down pretty matte. It doesn't feel particularly sticky or anything like that, so I thought it would make a good sort of eyelid primer. All right, we're gonna go and we're gonna try to come up with a look with the Salut Paris palette from Essence. I think I've only used this palette once or twice. I don't remember having like a super strong positive feeling about it, so I'm gonna go in with this kind of mid-tone, cool toned rose. And my memory serves me about this palette, again, the one time that I attempted to use it, is it was just too sheer for me. I thought it would actually make maybe a nice bridal palette, or a palette for somebody who is a lot more fair-haired, fair-toned, because even that pink just barely shows up. I'm gonna use the darker, cool-toned taupe in here, just to give myself a little bit more of a crease, I think. Again, it's so sheer. I suspect I'm just gonna get frustrated with this palette. Like I've gone in 3 times, 4 times now, just to try to build up that shade enough. So if you like a sheer wash of color, this one's going to give you a sheer wash of color. If you are someone who likes cool tones, likes pinks, and doesn't want bold, vibrant shades, then okay. For me personally, I would rather have a color go on too pigmented and then buff it out, you know, or slowly build it up if you know it's pigmented, than to have something be so sheer that you just have to layer and layer and layer and layer and layer. And I still feel like that just didn't really give me much of anything. Okay, I'm going to use this kind of plum color down here, and I'm just using the same mattes, and I'm really going in. There's a lot of kick up on this palette. Yeah, I get nothing with this, you guys. This is so sheer. I'm going over my entire lid. Maybe another use for this palette. If you do very, very sheer washes of color for work, this might be an okay work palette. One more brand that's never going to want to partner with me on anything because I can't give it a good review. 3 of kind of the darker colors in here, and I got nothing. I'm going to use my finger on the very darkest, kind of like a purpley, plummy shimmer. And I don't know if I can even salvage this look. Alright, you guys, that might be the only shade in here that redeems itself for me, and it's still very, very non-pigmented. It's soft. The formula is soft. Like if your shimmer is not soft, then we kind of have a problem, right? The whole Parisian aesthetic, because I'm trying to figure out like why would they call this Paris. There isn't any of the shades that particularly remind me of anything that I would see in Paris. Maybe it's meant for a more Parisian aesthetic, as in Parisian women tend to be more very, very subtle, more natural. I'm going in with the gray color in here, kind of a grayish taupe, just to see if I can get anything else out of this look that would allow me to leave the house and feel like I was put together. This isn't working for me at all. And not one to quit, I just keep going here. I'm dragging that color down below just to kind of smoke it out. I'm not enjoying this at all. Let me put on a little concealer here, some mascara and eyeliner, and let's just see what it looks like when I'm all done. I really tried with this eye look, and I ended up taking the purple eyeliner, more of a kind of a plumbing color. And I don't know, maybe, I mean, it seems almost like it's a gray with just like a tinge of plum to it, and that's fine. I ended up going pretty much all over my entire lid, just because I thought with all of those sheer kind of washed out colors, I wanted something that was going to be a little bit smokier, a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more eye enhancing, which I think is kind of what eye makeup and eyeliner is supposed to do. Is it's supposed to like enhance your eyes. The eyeliner, this one I think worked a little bit better. This is the Smoky Crystal, and it was a little bit firmer. The other one's called Extreme Lasting, and it was just too soft. This one's the Smoky Crystal, and it seems to be a little bit firmer. I don't know if they're just all like that or just happens to be just that one, but that eyeliner, what didn't upset me. The eyeshadow, I ended up taking, so this color here, which is the darkest shimmer, I ended up using over most of my lid, and I used it to kind of smudged out underneath my lash line too after I put on that eyeliner. Would I leave the house like this, which is kind of what it is at the end of the day? Yeah, but I'm not impressed. This is kind of a fail for me. With that being said, I'm going to take this off. We're going to come back with one more look with the last palette that I have, which is the Bonjour Montreal. Let's see if it doesn't work any better than this one. All right, be right back. Back with nothing but the tinted primer on my lids, and it does seem to dry down pretty quickly. I think going forward that this is absolutely an eyelid primer that I would use as opposed to maybe a makeup primer, because I don't know why you would do a tinted primer, and it doesn't really have enough tint to really do anything for me. I'm not super impressed with it as a tinted primer, but we're going to go in with the Bonjour Montreal, and this feels pretty heavy on the shimmers. I've got, I think, a total of 3 mattes and 6 shimmers in this 9-pan palette. I'm going to use this lightest vanilla shade in here to kind of set down any residual moisture from that primer, but again, I don't think there is much anything. It seems to dry down pretty fast. And I gotta be honest, I thought the tinted primer would be good for like those no makeup days when you wanted a little something, but you didn't want to like a full face. Shade didn't really do much. Kind of didn't really expect it to do much. I am gonna do kind of a simple look though. We're gonna use this brown matte. It's the second to the darkest shade in here. And I'm just gonna stipple on a little bit. Yeah, as what I've expected so far. Not a lot of pigment and just a slight patchiness, but I feel we might be able to make this one work a little bit better. Let's just see. These colors look a lot more bold and vibrant in the pan than they do when you try to put them on. Like this shade right here, you would never look at this dark brown and go, oh yeah, that'll be a nice subtle transition shade. Now that I know, we're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna use this green right here, and that's gonna go over the majority of my movable lid. And I'm only leaving like that, maybe the inner quarter open, because I'm gonna do a lighter shade in there. And then I'm gonna layer the darkest matte on the outer corner of my lid. All right, we're gonna go in with the darkest shade in here, and it's another matte. And I'm just gonna put it on the outer corner of my eye, just to kind of smoke it a little bit. That actually built up pretty nicely, but I need to buff out that edge. That brown is, while it's slightly more pigmented, it's also patchy. Going for the overall shape, I guess. Nice smoky eye look with that green is kind of the focal. Something that I've said before, doesn't matter how cheap or expensive a product is, if you can't get it to perform, or you have to have some sort of like magical elixir to make it work for you, then it's probably not a good value. All right, I'm gonna use this shimmer right here, just on the inner portion of my eye that I left open, and I'm gonna bring it all the way down into my tear duct. And I did do a little bit more of a kind of a cat eye effect with the shades, but I just don't know that it's even gonna really translate because colors just don't really do it for me. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more of that green and just kind of press it onto the lid. See if I can't make it a little bit more vibrant. I love the shade of green. It's a really, really pretty shade. At first glance, it just doesn't really seem like it's gonna have a lot of staying power either. We have a brown matte or brown eyeliner. We might as well try the brown eyeliner and see how that stacks up with the other ones. And I'll be back with some mascara. Look number 3, this time with the Bonjour Montreal. Bonjour Montreal. I like the green. The rest of the shades, you know, I mean, I feel like I was able to kind of pull off a look that I would leave the house in. Because we keep it 100% real and honest on this channel, I don't know that I would reach for that particular palette either. It wasn't as hard to work with as, say, the Salou Paris palette. It took some work, and I think that there are so many other really good palettes out there that I don't know that I would reach for this. Lip gloss is pretty. I would use that. I do have my Skin Perfector Loose Fixing Powder. I will give you my final thoughts on everything here in just a minute. Might as well just kind of keep going with the setting powder and fixing powder and setting spray. So the spray, I mean, it was super fine misted getting it on my face, but I don't know how much I actually got on my face, because I felt like I could feel it in my lap. I guess we'd have to find out, right? I mean, the only way to know for sure if this works is to use it out in the real world and just see. It does say oil-free, non-sticky, lightweight. I would say that. Makeup setting spray, instant matte. There's nothing shiny on my face right now, except for maybe my eyeshadow. So I guess there is that. That's not a complete fail. I feel like where it got on my arms feel a little sticky. Jury's out on this one. The loose setting powder seemed to be fine. It didn't give me any kind of glow or lit from within glow or shimmer or any of those things. It doesn't say that it's going to, it just says instant blur effect. And this is in the shade 10 Light. It's fine, not miraculous. I'm not gonna go on out and say, oh, this is like the best thing ever. Again, not sponsored, not endorsed, not affiliated, never gonna be at this rate. The matte bronzing powder, I actually didn't mind it. I mean, it's matte, so there is no shimmer to it. I did use it after I'd put more concealer on. I did go back over it a little bit, and it seems to build up pretty good. It's not a super cool toned bronzer, but I wouldn't expect it to be, and it's a generous size. So I'm actually not upset by this. If you are someone who just needs like a little bit of a bronzer and you don't want like super, super pigmented, I would reach for that again. The blush was fine. Yeah, I mean, the color was a soft kind of nudie pink shade, and I like that color. I think in conjunction, these two, the blush and the bronzer together, I'm not upset by that. I would absolutely wear that again. The brow products. Now, I did use the color on my brow, but I did not go back in with their little pomade whatever wax. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on here since I've got everything else done. And this little tiny spoolie is pretty much ridiculous. I don't know that it's gonna be a gel that dries down though. I don't really feel anything. It doesn't feel like it's a gel that's gonna get firm. It feels almost more like a wax or a soap brow thing. So if you're into the whole soap brows or pomade on your brow, it's clear. It's fine. I actually don't mind the color. I like the fact that I was able to kind of lighten up the darker with the powders. And I haven't used brow products in a long time, so I'm not upset by that. Hydrating face primer. It felt more like a moisturizer. It didn't really feel like a face primer to me. The tinted primer, the My Skin Perfector tinted primer. I would need to try this like underneath an actual real foundation. It did work, I think, fairly well as an eyelid primer. Like, I'm not upset by how it felt on my eyes. And I think that at this point in time, if I had any kind of wear or longevity issues with my eyeshadow, I'm gonna blame it on the eyeshadow, not on this. I will try this again. This matte concealer was too light for me. I would have to revisit it again in a less colorful season and just see. But right now it seems like it was really, really light. Very, I don't want to call it ashy, but it was too light for my skin. And it gives me kind of almost like a gray cast under here, which doesn't help the whole under eye crinkle situation. Lip liner was fantastic. In fact, I liked all the lip products. I only used one of the lip colors today, but I will absolutely use the other ones. I'm not upset with the nice nudie, pinky, blush toned lip situation. I actually really like it. I've got 3 different eyeliners. I can tell you that the extreme lasting ones I felt were too soft for me. The one that was the Smoky Crystal, I think I liked better. What else can I tell you? Eyeshadow palettes. This is the last thing. Unless you're doing bridal makeup or you're super fair, I would say pass on that. This one, the Bonjour Montreal, I mean, I think I probably like this look the best out of all of them. Not because it went on super easy or it was super intuitive or, you know, the eyeshadow performed really well. It just so happened to be that layering and layering and layering, I finally got something that I would leave the house in. But I don't feel confident that this is gonna stay on for a long period of time. Earth palette, I didn't try because it's all shimmers. I don't know why you would do that. When I think of Earth, I think of more matted colors, but they swatched very pretty, and you know, maybe with the bronzer, maybe that would be okay. This palette, as far as quality wise, this was the best palette out of the 4-pack that I've got here right now. Oranges and reds are not everybody's jam. I think it is kind of a nice like late summer, dog days of summer, Indian summer, you know, segue into fall. I think that these colors might actually work pretty well. I didn't use every single one of them. There are some other shimmers on here that seem very pretty that might work pretty well. Oh yeah, there's got an orange and we've got more of kind of a bronzy color. I don't think I used the rest of them. Oh no, I didn't use this one. If you're not a warm toned person or like warm toned fiery sunset kind of eyeshadows, you're not gonna like this palette. Naturally, because that's what the colors are. However, the quality on this was much better than the other ones. Maybe the formula on these smaller 9 pans is a different formula that's in the Destination ones. I don't know that it was a good makeup day. So, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. My standout winners, the mascara is a standout winner. The lip liner is a standout winner. The rest of the lip products were fine. These guys, these are okay. Like, I would probably use these again. I'm not going to relegate them to, you know, the nether regions of the drawer. I would actually use those again. If you're new here, not all videos that I make are full of fails. Sometimes I actually find products that I get really excited about, and I had hopes, because I love the mascara so much, I had hopes that the other products would work well for me. You know, guys, what I would love to know is, do you guys have the Essence products? Are there other ones that you really enjoy that I haven't tried yet? Or am I just wrong and you guys absolutely love some of the products that I've tried? I'm gonna get out of your hair. I know this is a little bit of a longer video because I did a face full and 3 looks, which I don't normally try to do. I try to make them a little bit shorter than this. So I apologize in advance, but I did want to give kind of a good solid try with this. And I did really try. And with that, I'll say until my next video, bye for now.